Hello and welcome to Creativity TV. On today's show we are joined by the lovely Jo Austin. Hi Jo.
Hi Emma.
Now this looks really interesting. What are you going to be making for us today?
Yeah, what this is a keepsake tin. I've actually made it as a little survival tin.
Right.
Which just basically means that you can actually fill this up with loads of little bits and pieces, like a marble for when you lose yours, or a piece of string to hold things together,
Yeah.
a rubber to rub away your mistakes, and chocolate to keep everything sweet. So just to get going really on this one, all I'm going to do is take some of the felt from the vintage notes, and what I've done is put a little bit of double-sided tape just across the top. Just pull off that top section, and to create the frill around the top, I'm just going to fold that down and just stick that in place. Okay. So what I'm going to do then is just take my scissors. Now I've got that obviously stuck down, and I'm just going to snip in, and then I'm just going to measure my tin. The little frill is going to come above the level of the tin. Okay, so we can just stick it in place, and I've got two little bits of double-sided tape on there. I'm going to pull it fairly tightly and then just roll the tin around the felt. So for the top here, I've taken the X-cut die and just put two circles on there.
Okay.
And I'm going to take this fantastic little doily stamp here, which again is one of the new stamps from the Vintage Notes collection.
Yeah.
I've got some gold ink, okay, and I'm just going to use it just on the top of the stamp, and you notice I'm not putting it onto a stamp block. I'm just going to use it upside down so I can leave it onto the acetate that's there. I'm going to take my top circle and just roughly drop it in the centre of your design and just give it a little bit of a rub over. So all I'm going to do now is just stick that together. So the two pieces just going to give it that extra little bit of thickness. So they're just going to sit together. Okay, and I'm just going to rub straight over the top of there with my finger, because I don't want to emboss it, I just want to dry that ink off a little bit. So if I smudge it in, it just means I've got a little bit of gold on my finger, but I'm not too ruined. That's the word, yeah. So what we're going to do now is just to fasten this onto the top of the tin. And all I'm going to do is just take the glue gun, put a little bit of glue just around the outside, and then that's going to stick just onto the top of the tin, making sure that you push this felt section down. Okay, and that's in place.
Okay.
Now we're going to decorate up the sides of the tin as well. So for this I've got some paper here, and I'm going to crumple it. So I do apologise, I'm not into crumpling paper most of the time. So I've got plenty of crumpled creases in there. And what I'm going to do is just take the same gold ink that I've used on the top. Oops. And I'm just going to just rub that over very lightly, just again just to highlight those creases and give it a slight distressed look. Okay, so I'm going to take some double-sided tape, and this is then going to fasten straight onto the top of the felt. Okay, so this is just going to wrap around the tin, just around the centre there. Okay, so leave a little border at the bottom and the top. And then we can just trim that down to size. Okay, we don't need to fasten the ends, because what I'm going to do is take a layer of the pink and put that onto the top as well. So before I finish this, what I've actually done is put a layer of double-sided tape around the centre.
Right.
And I'm going to tear it towards me, so I've got this lovely white crisp edge. And then this little section we're going to fasten onto the end. Bring it all the way around, keeping it quite loose, and fasten it on again. And then what I'm going to do is pull it up into the centre and fasten it on. Again, fasten it just there, and then that just means that we can add a little bit of a crease detail. And you know then that obviously you've got creases going all the way around it. Another little thing that I'm going to put on is some of this lovely lace. Now I love lace and things like that. It's very tactile, it's wonderful. So again, we're just going to take the end of the ribbon and just fasten it closed.
Okay.
And then I've just taken a little bit of organza ribbon, put a little bit of glue on just there, fasten my ribbon on, and then that's going to come around, and we can just fasten it closed at the other end as well. What I'm going to do is just trim that off. As you see there, just that dark burgundy ribbon with the cream and the cream
Works
felt.
really
It just
well.
works really well. It's a great collection. I absolutely
Beautiful.
love it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is a little trinket on the front.
Okay.
This one here, the little glittery trinket. So what I've actually done to create that one is just taken some clear embossing powder on a little bit of foil, and I've made myself like a little container.
Yeah.
Pour the embossing powder in and heat it up from underneath until it melts.
Right, okay.
What I can do then is just reheat that to create the little trinkets as I want to. So I'm going to do is just heat it up until it's nice and fluid. And then we can just carry on eating it. And then what I'm going to do is just very quickly pop a little bit of glitter on. Now what I'm going to do is take one of the stamps.
Yeah.
Now this stamp is from, again, it's the Vintage Notes collection.
Yeah.
It's entirely up to you what you want to do, but I've just taken the Best Wishes. Before we continue with this, I'm just going to ink up this ready, just with the blue ink. And then I'm going to take the heat gun back and melt this so it's nice and soft, and then I can stamp into it.
Right, okay. Very nice.
So we've got the little
Okay,
bit
so you've warmed
melted
that
there.
up.
Warm
Okay.
that up. Just take your stamp, and while it's still warm, we're going to stamp straight in, press down, and then just hold it in. Because it's the red urban stamp, it's not going to damage your stamp at all.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the wishes on there. And then all we need to do then is just take off this mat. Just give it a couple of seconds just to cool down. You can see there, you've got your little embellishment.
Oh, lovely.
What you can do when it cools down, it's still quite warm, but you can actually break little bits off as well. So if you wanted to shape it and mould it, you can do. And then just to attach it onto our tins, a little bit of magic. We can either use the glue gun and do it that way.
Okay.
Or what I'm going to do is just take, where we've actually put the glue just on there, I'm going to take my heat gun again. I'm going to hold this tag where I want it to be, and then I'm just going to heat it up. There we are. And then just smooth it over. There we go.
Wow.
Okay, but again, you can put it on with a glue gun if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So just lift that little bit off, just there. If you wanted to use a glue gun so you've got it nice and straight, a little bit of glue straight across the centre.
Right, okay.
And then just mould that. So obviously it's still slightly warm,
Yeah.
so we can mould it to go around the tin.
Fantastic.
So what we need to do now is
Lovely.
decorate up the top of the tin.
Right, okay.
So what I've done for the top, and again, I've done mine as a survival tin. So I've wrote on my little labels, and again, just to keep it going, obviously with a crumpled look, once you've written on it, just crumple it up just a little tiny bit.
Now these tags, these cards, they'd work really well if you was to make a card with like a voucher pocket at the front,
definitely.
wouldn't it?
Yeah,
and you
it
could use
definitely
something
would.
like that.
Yeah, I love these for journaling as well. So if you're a scrapbooker or using it on your cards, or again, just to make a little mini album or something like that, punch it and put a little book ring on there.
Yeah.
So obviously we've got that just covering the top of the tin. So now it's in place, we can just scrunch it up a little bit more. And then we're going to take the flowers, and I absolutely love these bloomers. So again, they're matching with all the papers that we've got. So quite a collection of different ones. So I'm going to take this blue one here. I'm going to create a little double flower. So again, just a little bit of glue just on the bottom. I'm going to double layer it. So just put this one on there just so it's crossed over a tiny little bit. And then I've got two buttons from the Booful range because I just felt like it went with this, but obviously any buttons that you've got at home or this range.
Well, there
will
are
have
buttons in the
toes.
Vintage Notes collection
are,
as well,
yeah.
so and which work really well
That's it.
with the collection as well. So
There we go. And then a little button just on the top there.
brilliant,
And then you've got your tin.
brilliant. Look at that. That's all done.
It's done.
Fantastic, well done, Jo. Thank you very much. Now, if you would like to have a go at making this beautiful pot, then you can find the full step-by-steps right here in the Creativity Club. And I would also love to see what you make. Can't stress it enough that I'd love to feature your projects on this show. So do drop me an email at tv@docrafts.com. And for now, happy crafting.